Hello and welcome. This is Husky 10. As you saw over the weekend, I released a YouTube video showing something off which I have been experimenting with. Hang on. I always check the notifications. Yeah, I submit the 5-minute crafts and watch esports. Yeah. Anyway. If you guys have been paying attention, I released a small snippet. It's about a minute long. Almost 2 minutes. Well, not almost 2 minutes. And 17 people saw it. I still have no idea why making a random game got so many likes and views. I'm still baffled at that. Every now and then I'll get a video that gets, like, quite a lot of views or likes. Or comments. But the video is, I've been experimenting with a platformer idea, which is the this is kind of tough. The point is of this platformer is it's experimental. It's an extremely rough prototype, but the point is it procedurally generates. There's one scene, and every time the scene is reloaded, a new level is created, and I'm going to be adding more obstacles, more traps, and all that. But it is procedurally generate. I wouldn't say procedurally generated, but it generates itself. It builds its own level every time the level is reset, as you can see in this video. There's no sound. It's an extremely rough prototype. Well, okay, why'd I do that? I did put it on Newgrounds. If you want to play it, I will leave a link in the description. So, there's some things I want to go over with this prototype. Here it is. You can play it here. It's called Sid. I'm calling the game Sid. That's its name. That's the name of the character. If you want to see a sneak peek of what the character looks like, there's Sid, which is pretty much the same concept, except it's not procedurally generated. I would have to build each level by hand. But let me see if I can find the player. Sid is this guy. The art is simplistic. He's going to squash and stretch. I really wanted a simplistic approach, and I used the default color scheme for Sid. I might redesign him. Who knows? Does Sid have a... Here he is, not in A sprite, but yeah. He's drawn at 84, I believe, 84 pixels by 80 pixels by 80 pixels. Because instead of the standard, how do I put it? Instead of the standard 64, default 64 by 64, which a lot of people use. My problem is when I import them into Construct 3 and I try to resize them, it becomes blurry. As you can see in the last official game release that people actually kinda liked, it almost gained 3 stars. But people said it needed a little bit more polish, maybe add some movement. said it was actually kind of basic, and I agree. This is the game. It's called Shootout. As you can see, the character and the enemies are the characters and the enemies are blurry. I did not make any of the art, so there's not much I could do. It's more of a high score game. I made this in the last video, or devlog. I actually did not make the art myself. That's why it was so small, but I wish it was larger. I used, everybody knows this, Kenny. I used his stuff. Why the hell? Yeah, I'm no longer adding stuff on Kickstarter. I tried, but no one would give or help. Yeah, Kenny has made a lot since the last time I went on there. I want to avoid for Sid. I want to avoid using pre-made assets. Yes, pre-made assets would work for my project, but I do not want to. I want everything to be handmade. I want people to know it was made by me. Oh man, I could make a jumping game. And what is this? Construct game sources. Creative Commons. No rights reserved. Public domain pretty much. Yeah, I every time I use a Kenny art aspect, okay, ignore that. Every time I use a Kenny or a pre-made art pack, I always leave a link in the description of the game. Yeah, I don't know why that pops up. I had to Google something, and that came up on Newgrounds. But when I create a game and I use pre-made assets, I always leave a link in the description as a credit to whoever made the art aspect. Why do I call it aspect? The art asset. I always leave a link. But let's go back to what I'm talking about, which is the randomly generated platformer. So let's open up Construct 3 and see what it looks like so far. I did some math and found that the way I have it set up, there are 5,000. Wait, how many? There are 7 platform types, each with so far with spike obstacles and all that. But there, according to Google, there are a total of it might be more or less, but there are a total of 5,040 possible combinations that each level can be built. it could possibly be more because I use spawn point. Okay, I'm going to reveal a little bit. I use spawn points. Each I use spawn points, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But according to Google, if I were to use the full 7, there would be, like I said, 5,040 pre-built material or pre-built levels. And the thing is, every time you press play, every time you reload the level, you're going to get a different layout every single time. You could possibly get some that repeat. That's always a possibility. None of this is final, though. None of the way the platforms look is final. I am researching color palettes. I am designing characters. I am designing more platform types. I'm trying to refine the generation because this can't. No. This cannot. No. There's a gap here, and I don't like that gap. Because every time you spawn, you're gonna die. Kind of like a Mario ROM hack. If you ever watch, I watch this guy called Zero Maverick TV on YouTube. Yeah, he plays these, and some of them do try to spawn kill you. But I'm trying to add more platform variations. I'm trying to add more obstacles. I'm gonna add enemies that will randomly spawn levels. I want to add a collectible to kind of reward you. See, like every time you go to the heart at the end, it restarts the level, and the level builds itself again and regenerates. This is all one layout. If you want proof, yep, one layout. This is the main. In some of my projects, I use a main event sheet. That way, the level event sheet only has like basic stuff. This is the heart of if I want to add another level. If I wanted to build another level, or another layout, I can just insert the main event sheet and it would play. Now let's get over something quick, which is the generation. There's a variable that will. I'm not going. Okay, how I got this method. I figured out the terrain generation myself. Well, most of it. I do want to credit something, which is I went on to Google and I said how to spawn random enemies in Construct 3. When searching, you want to mention your game engine, but I don't know if this is where I got the code. No, this is not the. Okay, yeah, this is not where I got the code either. This code was from multiple sources, actually. I did get it from a Construct 3. Hang on, what if I... I don't know if this is where I got it. Well, this is kind of how I did it. Let's just get over with the code. The code in the end uses 11 lines. Yeah, it's pretty basic. I think altogether I have 23 lines of code actually used. Like I said, this is not complete games. This is a prototype, and nothing is final. But let's get over the generation. I have on start of layout, and then it's going to say for each spawn 1. So I have a spawn point. So each of these are the level pieces. It can spawn one of each of these level pieces per spawn point. So I have it on the start layout sub event spawn 1. This is not tutorial. If you copy this, I do kind of want credit because I had to figure a lot of this out myself. But I'm gonna say no because I'm gonna say no. Don't credit it. Don't credit this if you didn't manage to screenshot it, and if you manage to screenshot it, I don't really care. This is not entirely my code. Like I said, I had to go through like 2 sources because I used a similar code for a tower defense prototype. Yeah, that prototype, if you want to see it, it essentially uses the same thing. But here, let me find it, the prototype. Console Wars. This is a tower defense game. You were supposed to battle. Okay, for some reason it did not open. Alright, let's see if I can open it again. Okay, here it is. See, I have a spawn point here, and I used a similar spawn point. I have enemy random in the other game, it's generation, but pretty much on the timer it will repeat a cycle of choosing. I'm gonna save. Alright, yeah, I already gotta fix that bug. Good thing I caught it or it came back. But it's gonna be randomly choosing 4 numbers, a number from that variable, erase, repeat 4 times or more. Every time, I think, don't quote me on this, but I think every time you add something, you gotta add another, you gotta up the count by 1 for it to repeat, and add another number to the variable. It will randomly choose between 1 and 4 and spawn an enemy. It will look something like this. This is about the tower defense. See, it's randomly choosing an enemy. It's randomly choosing an enemy, and it randomly chooses an enemy to spawn. And that's essentially the same method I have. For this procedural generation, is choosing a number. It's repeating. Okay, I might just have to say 6 times, because that's how many spawn points I have. I have 6 spawn points for the layout, so I might just leave that at 6. And it's going to, my terrain variable is going to choose a number between 1 through 7, because that's how many platform types I have. These are the platform types. I got straight one, you know. Yeah, I have a lot of weird ones. There are like several spawn points. Yes, I do have Unity. I'm not gonna do anything about that. Each one has its own spawn point. Sometimes it's in the middle, but for something like this, so it has a little elevation, I put it underneath, like far. I did not crop because some of them I want. I did not. Well, did I? Oh no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to crop because I'm afraid of that messing up the collisions. You see, when I hit get, it's gonna come up with something wacky or weird like that, so I don't want that. You're gonna have to do all the collision masking yourself. You might be asking, why didn't I just have it one item and have it choose between different animations? I do not know. There's also another method where you use an instance variable for certain ones, which I did not do. You sketch out the level piece, and you set the instance variable to maybe something like 1, 2, 3, and then you have it pick random and all that stuff. I do have pick random here, and advanced random. I, for the life of me, cannot figure that out. But anyway, it chooses between 1 through 7. 6 times, because that's how many spawn points I have on screen. You do not see the spawn points. I have them set to initially invisible. I have that unchecked. I don't know if I want to enable collisions. I also have a top layer for the border, because if I didn't do that, you would see these were okay. So it doesn't. These would be on top of this, and I didn't want that. So, but yeah, it's choosing 1 through 7, and if it chooses that number, it will spawn a corresponding platform, and then with that spawn a corresponding item, say like a spike. I might try to add trigger once while true. Let's see if that changes anything. Yeah, I can't even beat my own game. Okay. Yeah, that doesn't really make a difference. You can add trigger once while true. I might do that further down the road as I add coins and that. But anyway, it chooses between 1 through 7, and if the terrain for each, and I have that do it for each instance of the spawner, which is spawn 1. There were going to be several spawners because I thought I would need several spawners, but as it turns out, I just need one spawner and that's it per instance. But it spawns on top of that spawn point per. The reason it's red, I don't know why it's red, but without it, I would have to guesstimate size. You want them relatively close together. I'm not going to do a full tutorial on this. This was originally going to be a speedrunning game. There are some things I want to change. For instance, the layout, size. I want to change. Oh, that's the height. So what if I change? So I'm gonna test some values. For instance, 200, and that will. Let me see. Does that do the desired effect? Yes. It makes it longer, so that way I can add more to the level and build it out, make each level longer. I will make a note of that. You want to change the x value of the size. Yeah. Oh man, you can change event sheets. Event, you can have it to event sheets. But anyway, yeah. Again, I want to Google and prove to you, according to Google, there can be 5,040 ways to combine 7 items that will arrange 7 items distinctly. You can also... Oh man, there's a student thing in order to answer that. This one says there are like 604,799, so you can do quite a lot with this. I am going to change, I'm going to design platform types. I'm gonna have to actually sketch out. I'm going to design an enemy. I'm gonna design coins, but here's the thing, I don't want to overcrowd the level. But yeah, this is just a simple prototype. Someone on Newgrounds did suggest adding an ending, but my thing is my only issue is, yes, add an ending, but since this is an infinite generating level, how many levels do I have it generate? Do I have it as 10 and make it a simple game, like a tiny game, or do I make it, I don't know, 50? This saves, doing it this way, having it randomly generate, I am actually kind of impressed. Is a simple way to do something kind of advanced, or at least this way that I found. I might delete this. I do want like to 1,000. No. There's a way to like add seats in that. I don't know what the way is. But this thing saves me a lot of time because I don't have to go and make 100 layouts and build 100 levels if I want a really long game. I can just have it randomly generate for me, and the best part is no matter how many times you refresh it, well, you'll almost never get the same level. There will be instances where you get the same level, where it will build the same level, but that with 5,040 or so, or 604,799 combinations, that might happen rarely. Either that or the player won't notice. So yeah, I'll keep playing with this. I'll keep adding to it. Let me know what I should add, what I should change. If you have a suggestion on how many levels is too much, or how many levels I should set the limit to, let me know. And if you have ways of making this more efficient or changing some stuff, hang on, I want to try something though. When the player is in collision with Spike 2, I wanted to destroy the Spike. Just to make sure of one thing, it only spawns one. There we go, so I don't need to add trigger ones while true. So that's good for future down the road. Yeah, this is my project. I thought it was going to be super huge. I was gonna have to do some complications. Let me tell you about another method I found. Okay, I did not want to open that. Yeah, that's my other channel. Yeah. So I went on YouTube and I wanted to look up how to make a procedurally generated platformer in Construct 3, and they gave me this method. Well, you could use this one, but I didn't want to. But this is the video I found. This is the method that came up a lot. And it's what this game started out as. It's what this game started out as, which he pretty much he had imagine this as the platformer. I mean, as the platform, he had this. We'll also pretend this is the this is what he used. He put this in the corner of that platform, of the starting platform, and he told it to move. And as it moved, it would randomly generate platforms. So the level was long and infinite and all that. But I felt like that didn't fit what I wanted to do. Yes, I wanted to create infinite worlds, but I was having trouble of having it stay within the border and destroying on the outside, because it would just keep going and ignore the border. I wanted it to touch the border and destroy itself, but the generator thing just kept going and I had no way of fixing that. So I developed this way. Well, went back to that tutorial and found this method, which works pretty well. The next project after this I want to do is a procedurally generated dungeon crawler. If that'll work. But yeah, I'll leave a link to his video. See, like, here's his finished thing. You gotta tweak it and all that. And it pretty much randomly generated platforms, and I wanted something more unique and less boring. I mean, come on, I would get... Yes, he did say he might add checkpoints in that in the video, but I just wanted to make mine differently. I wanted to make mine differently in my own style and create it kind of like, yeah. In the next devlog, I'm going to redesign the platforms or the sections. And I'm going to extend the layout so I can make a longer level, make it more interesting and all that. But yeah, this is where the game stands. I will leave a link to the prototype if you want to try it out for yourself and see that it okay, there's some stuff in this video though that's not in the prototype. There's some level pieces that are not in the prototype. For instance, this boy. Okay, some of these that spawn spikes probably don't. I do have this problem though. I might just add another spawn type, another spawner, and have it spawn certain platforms and put it at the end and the beginning, so that way there's no gaps or anything like this. See, this is a problem and I'm probably gonna fix it. difficulty, infinite different types of levels. I'm gonna design enemies. I'm gonna design, maybe I will have like 2 characters play in the game, like 2 selectable characters. Let me know. I also, in the comments, please tell me how many levels should be the cutoff. What should be the how many levels should I have of it to build? Like, should I have it go to 50 levels, or should I have it stop at 100, or 99, or 60? Let me know. Ooh, then again, oh man, okay, there is a bug I want to try to fix, which is, if I can do it, it will randomly get caught on the edge, pretty much, and I have no idea how to fix that. I have no clue how to fix that. The masks I have checked are fine. The collision masks are dead on. See, you can even see for yourself. I have no idea why they're getting caught and grabbing ledges. Let me see if there's a... There's a double jump. Let me see. When the platform is falling, I don't want it to grab ledges. There's nothing here for grabbing ledges. I could do that, like set the angle of gravity. But yeah, I have no idea how to fix that. But yeah, that's where I'm gonna leave this devlog. Any comments, questions, concerns? Let me know. If you are the person who made this code originally, or that made this code and were on that forum, or if you had it in a YouTube video before me, let me know. I am trying not to steal your code. Please message me so I can give you proper credit. Alright, thank you, and that's all.